Good day guys, welcome back to the King Tira class and welcome to a new episode on Indices. Now in this second episode, we'll be looking at two basic questions on Indices. Now from which, we'll be applying some of the laws, of indices to solve this question. Now for the very first one, or to show that this equals this. Now actually this is a question under solve. Alright, so then for this, we have this as a question under indices. So basically, if you can remember, I started treating this series using Bondi, right? That very short but powerful textbook. So for the very first question that we have on indices, how do we solve? Very simple. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to show that this is equals to this. It invariably means that I can show that what this equals to this because of what this equals sign. So at this point, I'll start from the right hand side and prove to get the left hand side. Right? So by saying what? Number one, I have what? X minus a over square root of x plus the square root of a. Now, this is the same thing as saying what? Rationalize by multiplying both the numerator and denominator by the opposite side of the denominator. Alright? So, and that becomes what? Root x minus root a over the same thing, root x minus root a, such that when you cancel out, you get your answer back. So the idea is just to show that, okay, I can expand this. Alright? Okay, so x times root x gives us what? X root x. X times minus root a gives us what? Minus x root a. Minus a times root x is what? Minus a root x. And minus a times minus root a, that's what? Plus a root a. Right? All over what? Expanding this, I'm going to have what? X. That gives me what? Minus root ax. Right? Plus root ax. Then what? Minus a. When this cancels out, leave me with what? Now let's factorize, so let's go like times and then factorize. For this, I'm going to have it as what? X minus a root x. Then for this, I'm going to have what? Pull out your root a. That's what? Minus root a into what? X. Right? Minus a. Now, all over x minus a. Now, finally, what do we have? What I'm going to have is what? Pulling out the like terms, again, I'm going to have what? X minus a all into what? Root x minus root a all over what? X minus a. And finally, when this cancels out, I've left with what? The final answer, which is what? Root x minus root a, which I was told to what? Prove from the first, from the beginning. Okay, now moving on. Number 2 question says what? Simplify 4 dot this, then all over all this. So I'm going to have what? 4 dots, which means times 2 raised to power n plus 1 minus 2 raised to power n plus 2 all over what? 2 raised to power n plus 1, then minus 2 raised to power what? N. Now at this point, what I'm to do here is to make everything with what? Base 2. Then expand and get my final answer. Now, this becomes what? In base 2, 2 raised to power 2. Then dot 2 raised to power n plus 1 minus 2 raised to power what? N plus 2. All over 2 raised to power n plus 1 minus 2 raised to power n. Now, expanding. Right, this becomes what? 2 raised to power what? 2 plus 1, pardon me, 2 plus 1 dot 2 raised to power n. How do I mean? Now, if you have to expand this, it's to say what? 2 raised power n dot 2 raised power 1. In indices, where you have a base with a power times the same base with a power, you make it 1, then you add the powers. So the same thing, you are separating it also. What are you going to have? So I have assumed I did this. Alright? So which leads me to what I have here. So remember, I have 2 raised power 2 dot 2 raised power n plus 1. This alone is this. Then I have dot 2 raised power 2. So adding these two together, making this one base, is what I now have what I have here. So minus 2 raised power n dot 2 raised power what? 2. All over 2 raised power n dot 2 raised power 1. Then minus 2 raised power n. Now going further, this becomes what? 2 raised power 3. Alright, dot 2 raised power what? N. Minus what? 2 raised power n dot 2 raised power what? 2. All over 2 raised power n dot 2 raised power 1 minus 2 raised power n. Now finally, what I'll do is to say what? Factorize 2 raised power n out. Solve and get your final answer. Factorizing leaves me what? With what? For the numerator, I have 2 raised power n into 2 raised power 3 minus 2 raised power 2 all over what? Factorizing, this gives me what? 2 raised power n into what? 2 raised power 1 minus 1. Now, if you notice, I can cancel this out because of multiplication. So now get my answer as what? 2 raised power 3 here is what? Is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. 2 raised power 1 here is 2. Minus 1, that's 1. So leaving my answer to be what? 4. So if you expand this well, or if you simplify this well, right, your answer should be what? Should be 4. So that will be all for today's class. See you in my next video.